Have you ever walked into a room and you just like instantly feel someone's presence
Oh, yeah.
and they haven't even said anything yet?
Mm-hmm.
That, my friend, is the magic of body language.
Yeah.
It's like this secret language we all speak, even if we don't really realize this.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how much we communicate without ever opening our mouths.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, think about it. 55% of communication is body language.
Really?
38% is tone of voice.
Wow.
And only 7% are the actual words that we say.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So our bodies are doing most of the talking, even when we think it's our words.
Exactly. It's like if you're giving a presentation, right?
Yeah.
You've got all the data, you got the perfect slides, but you're slouching, you're fidgeting, you're avoiding eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
What message do you think you're sending to the audience?
Not a good one.
Regardless of those brilliant words.
Yeah. Definitely not confident, for sure.
Right.
And probably makes people question if I even believe in what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's flip that.
Okay.
Imagine this.
Yeah.
You walk in, you're standing tall, shoulders back, head held high, like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head.
I love that image.
Right.
Yeah.
You make genuine eye contact. Not staring,
Right.
but connecting with people.
Yes.
And suddenly you have presence.
Yeah.
You command attention.
Yeah.
And people are leaning in, eager to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
Okay, so posture
Yeah.
clearly is the foundation.
It is.
It's like setting the stage before we even say a word.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually achieve this?
Right.
Like this power pose
Yes.
without feeling stiff or unnatural.
Well, one simple trick is to distribute your weight evenly on both feet.
Okay.
It helps you feel grounded
Yeah.
and prevents that nervous shifting from side to side.
Oh, I know that shifting.
You know, the one that screams, I'd rather be anywhere but here?
Been there
Yeah.
many times.
Exactly. And it's so distracting to watch too, right?
Yes.
It makes the speaker seem so unsure even if they're actually an expert on the topic.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not just about formal presentations either, you know?
Right.
Think about how leaders carry themselves,
Yes.
whether it's
Yeah.
a CEO or a politician or even that friend who just seems to own every room they walk into.
Mm-hmm.
They all have that same sense of purpose and confidence in their posture.
So we can channel our inner CEO
Absolutely.
just by standing a little taller.
Even in everyday conversations,
Awesome.
maintaining good posture can make you feel and appear more confident,
Yeah.
which in turn helps you communicate more effectively.
Okay, posture check.
Okay.
Let's talk about eye contact.
Right.
I always found this one tricky.
Yeah.
How do you strike that balance between connecting with someone
Right.
and like accidentally creeping them out with intense staring?
Like laser beams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eye contact is like the glue that holds a conversation together.
Yeah.
It shows you're engaged, you're listening,
Mhm.
you're generally interested.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's a fine line between connection and laser beams shooting from your eyes.
I've been on the receiving end of those laser beams.
Yeah.
Not fun.
It's not fun.
So how do we get it right?
So think of it as eye triangulation.
Okay.
Instead of fixating on one eye,
Yeah.
you subtly shift your gaze between both eyes and the forehead.
Interesting.
So it creates a sense of connection
Okay.
without feeling like you're trying to hypnotize them.
Right. I like that. So you're taking in their whole face, but subtly.
Exactly.
Okay.
And remember to spread your gaze around the room if you're addressing a group.
Yeah.
Makes everyone feel seen and heard.
Right.
It helps you build that rapport and establish trust.
It's like you're acknowledging each person without making anyone feel singled out.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And this applies to any interaction,
Right.
whether you're on a stage in a meeting or just having a casual chat with a friend. Eye contact, when done right, is a powerful tool
Yeah.
for building connection and trust.
Okay, we've got posture.
Yes.
We've got eye contact.
Mhm.
What's next on our body language checklist?
Let's talk about gestures.
Okay.
Now, I'm not talking about like wildly flailing your arms around like you're trying to hail a taxi.
Or has a crowded street.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when used effectively, gestures can make your message clearer and more engaging.
Yeah, I've seen speakers who look like they're auditioning to be a conductor with those hand movements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But gestures can emphasize points, they
Yeah.
add visual interest, they even help you feel more comfortable and expressive.
So how do we find that balance between expressive and over the top?
Good question.
Give us some tips.
So imagine you're listing 3 key points.
Okay.
Instead of just saying them, use your fingers to count them off.
Yeah.
It adds a visual element that helps the audience follow along and remember the information.
I like that.
Right.
It's like giving your words extra oomph.
Exactly. Or let's say you're describing something large or small. Use your hands to show the scale.
Yeah.
It helps your audience visualize what you're talking about and keeps them engaged.
So it's about using gestures that feel natural and purposeful,
Precisely.
not just random hand waving.
The key is to use gestures that complement your words
Yeah.
and enhance your message,
Okay.
not distract from it.
This is great stuff.
It is.
I'm already feeling more aware of how I use my body
That's great.
to communicate.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
Once you become aware of your own body language,
Right.
you can start to make conscious choices about how you want to present yourself.
So what other body language secrets can we learn about?
Okay, now that we've covered gestures, which mainly involve the hands,
Yeah.
let's talk about how purposeful movement of your entire body
Okay.
can add another layer of impact
I'm intrigued.
to your communication.
Tell me more.
So have you ever noticed how some speakers seem glued to the spot, while others move around the stage with purpose and energy?
I tend to be more of a glued to the spot kind of speaker.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I get nervous about pacing around too much and looking like I'm lost.
It's a common concern,
Mm-hmm.
but a little strategic movement can do wonders for both you and your audience.
Okay.
One, it helps you release nervous energy.
That makes sense. I feel more tense when I'm trying to stand perfectly still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for the audience, movement adds dynamism and visual interest.
Okay.
It helps break up the monotony and keeps their attention focused on you.
So what kind of movement are we talking about here?
Right.
Should I be like strutting across the stage like a runway model?
Not quite.
Okay.
Think of it as strategic movement with a purpose.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're transitioning to a new point in your presentation,
Yeah.
take a step to the side to signal a shift in topic.
Right.
Or if you want to emphasize a key idea,
Yeah.
step forward slightly
Okay.
and pause for effect. So using movement to guide their attention
Exactly.
and create visual cues.
And it doesn't have to be big dramatic movements either.
Okay.
Even small shifts in weight, a slight lean forward,
Yeah.
or stepping closer to the audience at key moments can make a difference.
This is opening up a whole new dimension of communication for me.
It is.
Like, I never realized how much potential my body has
Yeah.
to enhance my message.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Wow.
There's so much more to explore when it comes to the power of nonverbal communication.
I can't wait to hear more. This is truly eye-opening.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
It really is. We can't forget about one of the most expressive parts of our body.
Oh, yeah, our face.
Yes, our face.
They convey so much emotion, even without a single word spoken.
Absolutely.
But I feel like I struggle with that sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to come across as fake or
Yeah.
over the top.
Authenticity is key.
Yeah.
A genuine smile can light up a room.
But a forced one can be really off-putting.
So, like, if I'm talking about something I'm genuinely excited about, my face should reflect that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let your excitement shine through.
Yeah.
And when your words and your facial expressions are in sync,
Mm.
your message becomes that much more powerful.
What about when dealing with more serious
Right.
or sensitive topics?
Yeah.
Should I try to maintain a completely neutral expression?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You can still convey concern, empathy, or thoughtfulness without, a big smile plastered on your face.
Right.
A slightly furrowed brow
Yeah.
can signal that you're taking the topic seriously,
Okay.
while a gentle nod shows you're listening and understanding.
So it's all about finding that balance between being expressive
Exactly.
but appropriate
It is.
for the situation.
And remember, you can use specific facial expressions to encourage interaction with your audience.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so?
Like a slightly raised eyebrow
Yeah.
can convey interest.
Okay.
Invite the speaker to elaborate,
Interesting.
while a furrowed brow might signal confusion
Yeah.
and prompt them to clarify their point.
Wow. I never thought about using facial expressions so strategically.
It is.
It's like adding a whole other layer of
Yeah.
communication to the conversation.
It is.
And the more aware you are of your own facial expressions, the more effectively you can use them to connect with your audience and enhance your communication.
This is all so insightful. I feel like I'm finally starting to understand
Good.
the secret language
Yeah.
of body language.
It is a secret language.
It is.
It really is.
But it's one thing to understand it, and it's another to actually put it into practice.
Right.
Any tips on how we can improve our nonverbal communication skills?
Absolutely.
Go.
One of the simplest yet most effective methods is the good old mirror exercise.
A mirror?
Yes.
Okay.
Practice your speech or presentation in front of a mirror, paying attention to your posture, your gestures, and your facial expressions.
It's like having your own personal body language coach.
Exactly.
Right there in your bathroom.
You can also record yourself on video and watch it back.
Ooh, that's scary.
I know it can be a bit cringeworthy at first,
Yeah.
but trust me, it's incredibly valuable for identifying any habits you might want to change.
Sometimes we're so focused on what we're saying that we're completely oblivious to what our body's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once you start paying attention to your own body language, you'll be amazed at how much more control and confidence you'll feel in any situation.
So we've talked about how to use our own body language effectively.
Right.
But what about reading other people's nonverbal cues?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that something we can learn?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's like becoming a body language detective.
Ooh.
By paying attention to the subtle signals that people send.
Yeah.
Through their posture, their eye contact, their gestures and facial expressions, you can gain a deeper understanding of their thoughts, feelings, and intentions. So, like, if someone is saying they're fine,
Yes.
but their body language is screaming, I'm totally stressed.
Exactly.
We can pick up on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Body language often reveals what words try to conceal.
Wow.
And the more attuned you are to those nonverbal cues, the better you'll be at navigating social situations, building relationships, and communicating effectively.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like I'm finally starting to unlock the secrets
Yes.
of this hidden world of communication.
It is a hidden world.
It is.
It really is.
So it's like we've been speaking this language our whole lives without even realizing it.
Exactly.
Now we have the tools to
And
become...
that you're aware.
Yeah.
You can start to refine.
More fluent.
Yes.
More expressive.
And the best part is it's a skill you can continue to develop and refine throughout your life. The more you practice,
Yeah.
the more intuitive it becomes.
Okay, so let's say I'm giving a presentation.
Yeah.
And I notice some people in the audience are looking bored or confused.
Can I actually adjust my body language, like in real time,
Absolutely.
to re-engage them?
It's like a dance between you and your audience.
Interesting.
You're constantly sending and receiving nonverbal signals.
Yeah.
And by being mindful of those cues, you can adjust your approach accordingly.
If I see some glazed over eyes,
Yes.
maybe I need to like inject more energy into my voice,
Exactly.
use more expressive gestures, or even move a little closer to the edge of the stage to create more of a connection.
Yes. Or if you sense confusion,
Yeah.
you might slow down your pace,
Okay.
simplify your language, and use more visual aids to illustrate your points.
It's like having this constant feedback loop where the audience's body language is telling me what they need,
Exactly.
and I'm responding accordingly.
And the beauty of it is you don't even need words to communicate effectively.
Wow.
Your body language speaks volumes.
This has been such a fascinating conversation.
It has.
I'm so grateful for all these insights.
You're welcome.
It feels like a whole new world of communication has opened up to me.
Right, I'm glad.
It's not just about the words we say.
Right.
It's the entire symphony
Yes.
of nonverbal cues that accompany them.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're all constantly communicating, even in silence. And by becoming more attuned to that silent language, we can unlock a world of possibilities for deeper connection, understanding, and empathy.
It's like we've been speaking this language our whole lives without even realizing it.
Exactly. And now you have the tools
Yeah.
to become more fluent and expressive.
It's a journey
It is.
of continuous learning and discovery.
Absolutely.
The more you pay attention,
Yes.
the more you'll notice,
the more skilled you'll become
and the more skilled you'll become
at navigating the subtle nuances.
of nonverbal communication.
Yes.
Well, on that note, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about
We have.
and plenty of practical tips to put into practice right away.
I agree, and I hope they'll join us again next time for
Yeah.
another deep dive.
Into the world of communication.
Yes.
Until then, keep those minds curious, those bodies communicating.
Yes.
And remember, sometimes the most powerful messages are spoken without a single word.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like we've been given this superpower, but we have to learn how to use it responsibly.
Right, not for evil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like any superpower, it takes practice and awareness to truly master it.
It's not about becoming some manipulative mind reader or anything.
Yeah.
It's about using this knowledge to really connect and communicate more authentically,
Yes.
build stronger relationships, and maybe even understand ourselves a little better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right.
It's about realizing that our bodies are constantly communicating, whether we're conscious of it or not.
Yeah. And by tuning into those nonverbal cues,
Yes.
both our own and those of others,
Mm-hmm.
we can open up a whole new dimension of understanding and connection.
Whole new worlds.
It really is.
Yes.
This has been such a fascinating conversation.
It has been. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on communication and human interaction.
Good. I'm glad.
It's not just about the words we say, but the entire symphony of nonverbal cues that go along with them.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're always communicating, even in silence.
Yeah.
And by becoming more attuned to that silent language, we can unlock a world of possibilities for deeper connection, understanding, and empathy.
It's like we've been speaking this language our whole lives without even realizing it.
Exactly. And now you have the tools to become more fluent and expressive.
It's a journey
It is a journey.
of continuous learning and discovery.
It is.
The more you pay attention, the more you notice, and the more skilled you become.
At navigating the subtle nuances of nonverbal communication.
Exactly. Well, on that note, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about
Yeah, a lot of homework.
and plenty of practical tips to start putting into practice right away
I agree, and I hope they'll join us again next time for another fascinating deep dive.
into the world of communication. Until then, keep those minds curious, those bodies communicating. And remember, sometimes the most powerful messages are spoken without a single word.
Absolutely, that's a great way to end it.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.